Hello everyone, welcome back. Today's tutorial is probably going to be a quick one because today we are talking about power windows. Power windows are pretty straightforward and can be located under this tab, and they are called just windows or power windows as you wish. They are a great tool to isolate a certain portion of your video clip that is just too difficult to isolate with your qualifiers or just simply unnecessary, because sometimes it is just easier to isolate something using power windows rather than qualifiers. So let's have a look at this particular image. I want to have a uniform exposure in here, meaning that I want my street and buildings a little bit brighter, but when I'm using the global exposure, I'm going over the top in terms of my sky. It is overexposed. If I bring my exposure to have my sky correctly exposed, you can see that the street and buildings are too dark. This is the perfect situation for a power window. We're going to create another node and we're going to use this gradient power window. I'm gonna enable Shift H, enable the highlight, and now let's drag it up and we can increase like this softness of this effect. This way we are selecting only the sky. Let's disable highlight and let's try to reduce the exposure. Now I'm reducing the exposure only of my sky. And now this image is uniformly exposed as I want it. But this particular window right now is affecting this building as well. And I do not really want this thing to affect the building. We can use several power windows in conjunction with each other. Let me demonstrate. Let's select this one. We are going to draw a rough shape around our building. Something like that. The top portion of the building. And we are going to have a look at our highlight. Right now they are working with unison, but if you click on this button, it is going to change whether they are adding with each other or subtracting. And right now it is not really working. Why? So I've restarted my DaVinci Resolve because it wasn't working correctly. DaVinci Resolve 18 is out of beta, but it's still not working correctly. Okay, now we are viewing as it's supposed to be viewed in highlight mode. And now if we toggle this on and off, we can see that we can either subtract it from the main selection or add it to the main selection by clicking on this button. Let's subtract. Let's subtract it from the main selection, Shift H. And now this building is brighter than it used to be, right? Now, let's talk about this section of the windows a little bit in details. We have different selections that we can use, different power windows. For example, a rectangle one, a circular one, what is it? Just a polygon? Yeah, just a polygon. We can adjust it the way we want to. Also, we have a curve. It's not going to appear in here because you need to start clicking in different locations to see what you are selecting using this curve. And also the gradient. You can see that the same naming is going to be displayed in here because you can add as many of these power windows as you want. Example, we are going to select a circular window and position it like so over this building. And I want to add a second circular window. If I click in here, I'm going to disable the window that I'm just created. In order to create the same window, but an additional one, you're going to need to click in here. And you're going to create a second circular window that you can position in here. Now, Shift H to view. And this button, as you remember, is going to tell the window whether we're going to add to the selection or subtract. But this window is going to invert the selection. For example, I want to select everything but this building. I'm going to click this button and everything is going to be selected but this building. Or this one. What am I selecting? Yeah, this one. So In order to find the power window that you've created, you can name them. For example, first one and second one, and so on and so forth. Sometimes these windows, as you can see, they are displayed with like bluish color and the gray one. Sometimes it is not really visible on the screen. So in order to make it more visible, you're going to go to DaVinci Resolve, Preferences, User, and Color. And you're going to find this High Visibility Power Window Outlines. Click on it and save. And now they are changed to yellow and green and cyan, which is much more visible than the previous version. I'm going to go to the previous version because I do not really like that. Now, sometimes when you're trying to select something, you need to see what you're selecting, and the selection itself is obstructing the view. You can enable and disable, clicking on and off, by pressing. Yeah, click on the mouse, press on the keyboard. By pressing Shift and tilde. This way you can disable and enable these power windows. They are still working, but the outlines will be disabled and enabled once you click Shift and tilde. Now, once you've created a power window, you can continue working with that using these parameters. Let's go to the previous selection. Let's go to this building. I'm going to select my curve and I'm going to readjust it. First of all, you can increase and reduce size. You can pan it left and right. You can rotate, tilt, and change the opacity. This is pretty straightforward, nothing really complicated in here. Now the softness. It is a good rule of thumb to introduce some softness to your power window in order to make it not that harsh of a selection, right? You can increase the softness. You can create these inside and outside lines that are going to introduce another level of softness to your selection. These are the controls that are going to be used in order to refine your selection, in order to make it more appealing, more good looking. And Shift tilde in order to view what is actually happening in here, and it's looking pretty good. Now, in this 3-dot section, we can save as a new preset. A little strange thing to put in here, but your windows, if you created like several windows and the scenes that you have, they are pretty similar to each other, and you want to use the same like window array that you have created, you can save it as a preset. You can reset selected window, you can copy and paste window, paste append window, copy track and paste track data. We're going to talk about tracking data in the next video. And convert to Bezier. What is convert to Bezier? Another example, we're going to create a circular shape. Circular shape is adjusted by this. We're adjusting the softness of this selection and we're adjusting the radius. Basically, two controls, and we can also rotate it. That's pretty much it. If we want to have more control, for example, I'm putting this over a certain portion of the building. I don't know, this is not a good example. But I can convert this circular selection into Bezier like this. And now each point can be controlled by me. I can move it as if I'm moving the curve, because I decided to switch this particular shape into the Bezier curve. These are all the controls that you can find within the power windows, and in order to use it the best way that you could, you need to use tracking, because this shot is a static one, but once we move to the next one, this shot is a moving one. And if we create something on this person, it is not going to follow him. So we need to track the power window. How to do that? We're going to discuss it in the next video. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.